So in the first of its big decisions today, the Supreme Court decided whether or not to review its decision from last year in the Sabarimala case. Now, as you remember, in September 2018, the Supreme Court actually said that the practice of not allowing menstruating women or women between the ages of 10 to 50 into the Sabarimala temple was discriminatory and struck it down. And following all the protests and all the problems which took place when women tried to enter, a number of review petitions were filed in the Supreme Court, something like 65 by the Travancore Devasam Board and other groups and Hindu organizations as well. Now, on the basis of this, the court had conducted a number of hearings. They looked at whether or not they decided whether or not the decision in the original judgment was right or wrong. Now, what the judges have said today, however, is the majorities of the judges have said today that these issues are sufficiently important, are relevant to a number of other cases, and so they need to be referred to a larger bench. Now, Justices Rohinton Nariman and D.Y. Chandra dissented, saying that, look, the question before the court is very clear whether or not they got it wrong in the earlier judgment. There were no grounds to say that actually the decision made back in 2018 was wrong, and so, in fact, the original order needed to be complied with. However, the majority here of Justices Khanvilkar, Indu Malhotra and Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, however, said that in this case there were these broader issues at play of, what is an essential religious practice for a particular religion, who gets to decide what is an essential religious practice, how do you decide between a conflict between what is being purported by the sort of priests and the people in charge of a religion versus the individual devotee's right to pray, which is sort of what has happened in this case, and what about the sentiments of other people who are part of the same religion. Now, on this basis, they said that this is actually something which comes up in not just this case in Sabarimala, but also the question of whether Muslim women have a right to pray at all mosques, the practice of the Dawoodi Bohra Muslims, which essentially have been accused of being female genital mutilation. So essentially, all these cases deal with this question of, you have a broader diktat by the religious community and by its clerics and leaders, but does that actually, to what extent should that bind the devotees? To what extent should that be considered to be an essential religious practice? And that's a question which they say a larger bench needs to decide. One thing to remember, of course, is that there is no stay on the September 2018 judgment of the Supreme Court. So therefore, technically at this point of time, women have every right to enter the Sabarimala temple, and the government in Kerala is actually supposed to ensure that they are able to do so. There is obviously a number of Hindu activists have come out and said that no, they should not be allowed because the court has also not taken a final call. But legally speaking, that is incorrect. Women should be allowed to enter the Sabarimala temple at this point, no matter what their age, and only once this larger bench hears the matter, and only if they then decide that the original decision was wrong, only then can women be barred from entering. Till then, there is no bar on entry for women to Sabarimala temple.